Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from the Hub. Here today, of course, with our friend, Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. Hello there. How are you?
Good morning. I'm wonderful. I'm good.
Good,
I'm
good.
wonderful.
Excellent. So I want to pre-apologize to all of our viewers. I'm at the office today, so that's why my geography looks different. And because I'm at the office, I don't have extra things plugged into my computer, so my Wi-Fi might be weird. So I am pre-apologizing to you. I will be purchasing a Wi-Fi booster after we're done with the show. So Pastor Jim and I were chatting and we may have some problems. So sorry, I'm pre-apologizing. So we were
So,
chatting
so just
before.
Kelly, if you know that it's going to freeze up, just give us a good face if you think it's going to freeze up.
Well, I know because it always
Just
freezes
give
up
us
when
a
you're
nice
like,
smile.
I know, that's always the frozen face. I know. It's not ever frozen when you're like, when you're having a cute face. I know. So we were chatting about Easter, of course, because we just had it, and I always feel bad for pastors. It's just because I know all of you just think about like how lovely your life is and whatever, and you go to worship and it's lovely, and I always think about. I mean, I think about that too, but I always think about like pastors and like how many services they have to do. I know that sounds like a funny thing. I just think about like if it was your job, like how okay, so a lot of you think like pastors have it easy. You don't really know how many hours they work in a week. If you knew, well, that's a whole other conversation. But like especially Easter week, it's a lot of services, man. It's a lot of services. Like Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, whatever Saturday's called, sunrise Easter service.
Holy stuff.
Oh, is it called something? I never knew what it was called. Whatever.
Well, if you don't know what to call it, you just take the day of the week and then you put the word holy in front of it. So,
Oh, Holy Saturday. Yeah. So we were chatting about it. And Pastor Jim he wanted to talk about something he wanted just to talk about something. So he's in charge again this week, which I have to say, I've been in charge like almost 52 weeks, and it's nice to let him be in charge. So he's in charge. Yeah, I know.
ah,
Curiously silent, isn't he? Mm-hmm.
so, so, so
He's
first
my
of all,
friend, so
first of all,
you're my
thank
friend,
you for
so it's
those comforting words. Yeah, I mean, pastors, people don't really realize what all we do because and I even joke about this. I only work 1 hour a week.
right, right,
And
right, right.
that really is not true. Um, but yeah, so we did. So last week I did a part of worship leadership for 7 different services that began on Wednesday and ended on Sunday morning at some point. And the standing joke is with pastors and a lot of other clergy is that on Easter Sunday, Jesus rose and then we slept
Yeah.
because we rested. It was like, oh my gosh, it can be a huge letdown and whatever with it. But what I wanted to share was, even though that's a lot of work in all those different worship services, they all go together to tell a story.
Yeah.
They all go together to tell a story. It's not like one can stand alone. Yes, each story can stand alone, but until you get the context of the whole story, it's it may not have as much of a meaning for people. And so some of the stuff that was coming across for me that I was wondering about that I actually shared with Kelly a little bit before. The particular text that we used on this Easter Sunday was from the Gospel of Mark. And before I go there, there's something I wanted to make sure that we also understand too, that Easter is not just one day.
Okay, so you're gonna
Easter
like
is a
blow
season.
people's minds because everyone's like the bunny decorations are away. The Easter eggs have been found and peeled and made and deviled. And so it's over, man. The
Or pickled.
chocolate has been 2/3 eaten. It's over.
Not yet. I have one bunny cookie yet left.
Oh, okay. That's super cute.
Yeah, it's Laura's cookies. So sidebar advertisement. You're welcome.
She makes
So
the
the
best
church.
cookies.
I know. I already ate one of them, so I have one left. So the thing about with the church year is we go around seasons or particular times, and we tell particular stories that fit with that particular theme. So we are now in the Easter season, where we will talk about resurrection stories, redemption stories, new life stories of how we've gotten new life after death. In other words,
Wait, why did you use the word redemption in there? Because how is redemption about, like, how is redemption connected to that? That doesn't seem like that's what that's about.
Well, but I think that's part of the whole thing.
All right,
So in other words,
riddle me that, Batman.
All right, so in my understanding, it's redemption because Jesus was put to a cross by people who didn't understand him or did not fully understand him. In other words, so
right, the Romans,
there were a whole lot
Romans didn't get that at all.
Right, there were a whole lot of people that followed him and understood him. But when we got down to the last wire, they all said, "Oh, I don't know who he is. I can't do that. I can't love my neighbor all the time."
Right. It was a whole other
And
philosophy than what they were used to.
So the redemption comes in knowing that Jesus was risen from the grave, that Jesus rose to new life, that there is new life after death. Now, how do we know that? We have to trust it, because even the stories that we're going to be reading over the next couple of weeks in our worship, we're going to talk about people encountering Jesus, but they're not knowing that they can't see him, they can't physically touch him, they can't physically be in his presence for a meal, but they just know he's there by the way that he taught and the way that people were beginning to think anew, to think differently. I've been redeemed from my past that kept me in the dark.
Oh, that's the concept of the faith. And so
the concept of the faith.
To be redeemed, to have redemption, is that things that used to be one way, because you have faith, are now different. Are now different, with a period at the end of that sentence.
Some people may also call that forgiveness. And it's kind of the same way, because a lot of times we have to forgive ourselves for the way we thought that, that maybe we didn't look at our neighbor as a whole human being, but we looked at our neighbor as too different and so far out of there's no way that God could love them. And that is so far from the truth. That is so far from the truth.
So you
and
can
that God
apply
showed
this,
up on the cross there.
You can apply this.
Go ahead.
Okay, wait, hold on. Or I guess I'm saying, I was making this a statement, but can I make this a question? Can you apply this to more than just carpenter on a cross in a tomb, not in a tomb? Can I apply this more universally?
Yes.
Yes. For real? Because now it has, okay.
For real.
Because first of all, the first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about this is the whole concept of recovery, right? You have to forgive yourself. You have to redeem yourself for your past behaviors to then accept who you are in order to be and forgive yourself to then move on to the next level. In order to have, I mean, and I am not a recovery expert, not going to say that I am. That's just sort of like the 1, 2, 3s about recovery. That's about it. That's all I can say that I'm like good at. But there's
yes.
like 100 things about that.
So let me ask you this. How many other stories have we read where we've applied them to our everyday life? We read novels, we read news stories, we've taught our children, other stories that talks about, and we relate them to real life. Why would we not relate the story of Jesus to our real life?
Right. So I've been I've been applying Aesop's fables to my real life every minute lately, because I've been doing the tortoise and the hare. I've been slow and steady wins the race right now, because I feel like I have a ghost bunny who's racing me, and I feel like I am sorry, I know, hold on. Okay. I think I may have had a little moment there. Okay. So I have a ghost bunny that's racing me, and I feel like I'm the slowest tortoise in the universe. But I keep saying to myself, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. And I can feel this ghost bunny who looks at me with like a scary monster face. And I just have to say to myself, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm having right now. So yeah. Okay. It's
God
redemption.
keeps loving you, even though it takes a long time to figure it out. It's redemption, yeah. So getting back to where I was going to say, the story that we used this past Sunday. Go ahead. You look like you've got something to say.
Well, it's just that, okay, I'm this many years old, and I've never thought about it that way. I gotta say, nor was I ever sort of presented it that way. I've always just sort of heard, okay, maybe I wasn't listening. That could be. I mean, that could really be. I may not have really been listening, but I feel like I was never, and I am also not faulting any of the presenters who have ever presented it. But I feel like I've never really sort of had it presented that way, that it's a redemption song. Thank you, Bob Marley. That it's about redemption. Okay. All right. I'm super thinking now. I hope that everybody who's listening is now like, whoa, we got to think about this a little deeper. All right. Okay. Now you say.
Oh, there's so much I want to say now, just because, so you may think this is corny, but you've just risen from the dead.
Oh, because I used to think another way, and now I'm thinking another way.
And you're thinking a new way that has the potential to give you new life, or at least it appears that it has the potential to give you new life. And that, I think, is one of the things in the whole Easter story that, for me, this year really came out, because we were reading the Gospel of Mark. And the Gospel of Mark, talks about when the women arrive to the tomb.
Yeah.
They're expecting a dead body. They're expecting a dead body that they need to anoint and whatever their traditions ask them to do. But when they get there, there's no body.
Right. And could you imagine? There is no body. I mean, so these women have done this before. This isn't like the first time they've done this. They've done this before. And can you imagine, they go over, and not only do they show up, but the rock that's there is already rolled away. So they're like, what in actual heck is going on? I can imagine these women are like, we need more wine because I cannot do this early in the morning, man. We need some more mead or
So,
something.
so right there's the beginning, right there's the beginning of the redemption story.
Right.
These women show up to the tomb, and what they thought was going to be there wasn't. The stone is rolled away, there's no body there, but there's the image of a young man whom we think is probably just an angel that says, yeah, hey, Jesus isn't here. He already went to Galilee.
Huh.
And now you got to go tell Peter and all the other disciples to meet Jesus there.
And
All
those
right.
are all the people who have already said to Jesus, who have already were like, yeah, so I get that you're going through a lot of shit right now, but like, we gotta leave because sorry, man. Sorry.
I ain't hanging around to see you die on a cross.
Right. They did not want to get involved in all this drama. Right. They had other things to do.
So the message now is
Hmm.
a resurrection story, a redemption story, is that you go out, go into the world. And
Yeah.
the reason Jesus went to Galilee is because that's where Jesus's ministry, that was sort of the central location of where it began.
Yeah, that
It
was
was
the
like
whole
going
place with
home.
the fishes, right? That's the place with the fishes and the loaves. Yeah, okay. Whew, I got my geography correct. Thank goodness.
That's where he picked up a lot of his disciples, for they were fishermen.
Yeah,
Not all of them, but some of them were.
yeah.
So you go back to your hometown and you tell them the story that Jesus lives. He died, but he lives again. And what kind of thinking is that? That, what I thought once was good, all of a sudden, it's better. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. Now, how's that go? You don't know what you don't know until you know that what you don't know doesn't work, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. And I will say that for a lot of Jesus followers, because, you learned last week that I don't necessarily like the word Christians. But Jesus followers today, the story is that we live in the resurrection. But I'm afraid that we too often live in the tomb. We forget to get up out of the tomb and go. In the tomb, we are in our own little places where I don't need to engage, and I might feel sorry for myself and whatever. But where's that angel in that tomb telling us, get up and go? Go out into the world. Tell other people about love. Tell other people that they matter. Give other people redemption and hope. Transform others. If we truly say we are resurrection people, then that's what we should be doing. We should be engaging with our neighbor. And I just want to say is that engagement with our neighbor is so different, I think, than what we think it is.
Right. And that doesn't mean,
It's
because you always talk about that's like you said last week that that's what I do, which still I have like thunk about. Like, that doesn't mean that I go walking door to door, knock, knock, knock. Hello, do you want to be a follower of Jesus? That's not what I do. I I talk to people about, can I help you not lose your house through eviction because of this pandemic stuff? And I sit with people and go, okay, talk to me about how this works and da, da, da. And it happened yesterday, for heaven's sakes. I was talking to this couple and they were so sweet. And I was like, okay, so like, let's talk about this and this other thing. And we were talking about stuff. And at the end, this woman, the wife of this couple says to me, she goes, "You're just so easy to talk to." And I said, well, I said, I just want this to be easy for you. This is so stressful. I said, getting letters from your landlord that said you owe thousands of dollars is just so stressful. And then, we were talking about it and all this stuff. And at the end, she says to me, "Can I hug you?" And I said, I just sort of went like that with my face. And I said, well, of course you can. And like she grabbed me around, and I know you're not supposed to because of COVID. I know you're not supposed to, but she needed to do that. And she grabbed me around and I felt her whole body just go. I know you
So
said
for those of you,
I just ministered.
you just redeemed somebody's life. You just gave them new hope.
So
And
that's what
that's
that
what we're supposed to
is.
do.
That's living outside the
I'm
tomb,
going
I
to
guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge our readers, our listeners, to get out your holy scriptures, whether it's a Bible, Quran, or Torah, I don't care. And you tell me one where the person who is identified as a savior goes up to somebody and says, well, you'd be better if you did it this way.
Could you imagine? Could you? Okay, I'm totally laughing at that because I think that's just foolish. That's so finger wagging.
But how many of us do that? Because it's so easy.
Right. It's so do as I say, not as I do.
I can fix you.
Right.
No.
Right. Listen
No.
to me. I have all the answers. Right. It's so that's laughable. That's laughable behavior.
And I'm sure that 99% of the people watching us are saying, oh yeah, that's me. Or I've been on both sides of that.
Right.
Where someone has tried to fix me.
Right. Like that doesn't work. Right. And you know that when someone does it to you, you're like, seriously, what are you trying to do? Like, who do you think you are? You're not the boss of me. What are you
Who are
doing?
you to tell me what to do?
Yeah.
So that example of the way that Jesus brought people to hear that and to see that story, again, is something that we talked a little bit about last week of servant leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's giving the person that you're engaging with an opportunity to share their story and for their whole self, or as much as they're willing to share, to be a part of the decision process of the changing process. It's about helping them to see it for themselves and walking with them to make changes. I can't think of a good time where it's good to just tell somebody we're going to do it for you.
Yeah. And
because that's not helpful.
Right. And like this couple.
And I know that there are people, because I've encountered some where, well, just tell me what to do, or, just give me and I'll be happy. And the thing is, they come back, and that's really not change. That's
right. That's called
really
enabling.
not change.
Yeah.
That's the word. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, that's the word. Yep.
Right. Because and so I want to answer that by saying this. That couple who I was with yesterday, like our interaction didn't magically create perfection in them. Like, duh. But I have to talk to them again, because we like this process for like eviction prevention is twofold. And so I planted a couple of seeds in their head about like a job and like helping them with some like mental health stuff and whatever. And so I planted a couple of seeds. So when I see them again, we're going to talk about seed number 1, and we're going to talk about seed number 2, and we're going to talk about seed number 3, and we're going to see like, did some of those seeds take root, and did that help a little bit? And so those people aren't going to be perfect people, and because that's not possible. But I hope that they water their seeds a little bit, and they let some of those seeds grow a little bit to try out new things for themselves, to see if they can grow a little. Because that's really what the goal is. They have to learn it for themselves. They can't just like wish it and pray it and hope it and think it. They actually have to like engage. They have to do it and try it. That's the only way to do it. And they have to like try it and fail a little bit, and then try it, and then maybe like ask for help a little bit, and then try it, and then do it. That's how it works.
So Kelly, I am aware that our time is needing to come to a close,
It
because I know you have
is.
another appointment coming.
Yes.
But there is so much more I would love to share and whatever with it. And I'm imagining right now that there may be some people that are saying, well, that's the church's job, or that's what the church does, or whatever. So Kelly, I'm already going to tell us that's next week's conversation. What is
Okay.
church?
All right.
Because even that idea of what you do and what our viewers also do in the world is ministry, is key to understanding servant leadership, and it's also key to understanding what the church is. What the church is in the way that it has been set up. And I'm gonna ask our people to think about also where just the idea, and this will be part of next week's too, the idea that we all live in this world. We all navigate in this world with 7 billion other people. Okay, there aren't 7 billion people in Ephrata. We'd be stacked up 20,000 high. But all over the world, we live in the world together. And sometimes there's a pandemic that makes us realize that we really are all together in this. And that for many people, they also live into a spiritual world, right, where there is God or gods, right, that help to give them, and redemption and all of that, and what that looks like. And the challenge is, how do they coexist? How do they coexist? You can't have one without the other.
Right.
And it's hard to be in just one and not the other.
I'm excited for next Tuesday already.
So something we've never done is planned next week already.
Oh, I know. It'll be fantastic. Thanks, Pastor Jim. See you, everybody.
All right. Bye.